Hello. Hello.
Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir, we can
Well,
hear you, and the
yeah,
session is
Garima.
live, sir. Sir, the
Sorry,
session is
Anshu.
live. Sir, the session is live. We'll speak later.
Yes, please.
Just take few minutes for people to join in. We'll give another 5-6 minutes for the people to join in. It's live on Facebook
Anshu
also.
Maheshwari. Yeah, Anshu Maheshwari had a problem logging in, registering
Sir,
actually.
yeah, sir, yeah, she talked with Sunil. It's been sorted out, sir.
I'm gonna stop the broadcast and start it once again just to make it Facebook Live, taking this some glitch in that song. The recording will continue, but it will come on live on Facebook. Ma'am, we are now live on Facebook and we are on recording.
We'll just wait for 5-7 minutes, and once the participants are there, then we'll start.
Sure.
Logging in will take time, no?
Yes, sir, a bit. We'll give some time.
Of course. It's not like a physical classroom. That technology. Talking still, huh, Garima?
Garima ma'am, Laura sir will be joining the event. Mute.
No, Laura sir won't be because he is busy in 2 other webinars. So I think so. It's 14:36. We'll start by let's say another 45. We start at 2:45.
Well, Saurav?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. How are you, Saurav?
All good. All good, sir. Thank you, sir.
I've waiting, no?
Yes, sir. We'll start at 2:45 exactly.
Saurav, I don't know. This is the first webinar I'm doing it. Making my debut as a webinar speaker. You know my punctuality is for Garima. 2:30 means
Yes, sir.
2:20. It doesn't work now, no? Does it still happen? I hope you maintain that, Garima, the students.
खाने बच्चे क्यों नहीं आए हैं?
Live now? We are not live now, no? We are private, right? Sushi? Sunil?
Yes, sir. We are on live.
We are not. We are private. You mean? Where is Sunil now gone? He disappeared.
I'm right
Can't
here,
hear
sir.
him.
I'm right here.
I know. I kept saying Chef Sunil, Chef Sunil. We are private now, no? We are not live as yet. Please tell me when you're going live. Huh?
So we are live, just
So the
waiting for
flows,
participants to join now.
Garima will start off. I think. I'm sure whoever starts off. Then Sunil will. Then Saurav will. Welcome me and give me to the people, and then I start. That's it. Do
So
we
we are
have
live
a
only.
right now?
We are live only right now. We're just waiting for most participants, attendees to join in, and then we'll start. Saurav Chef will take it. Don't worry. Saurav Chef will take it.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon.
Sir,
Good
Chandana
afternoon.
here.
Yeah, carry on, Chandna.
No, I was just giving my introduction to sir.
Yes, please
Sir
do.
Chandana, I also work in Sushant University as assistant professor.
How are you,
Nice to
Chandana?
have you here, sir, today. Thank you.
Wonderful interacting with you too.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon. Thank you. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Yes, here, sir. Working in Answer News here, sir. How are you, sir?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Saurabh, I think we'll start. Sunil,
Yes, ma'am.
Saurabh, please start. Yeah.
Right. Am I audible, Sunil, sir?
Yes, you are, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chef Saurabh Chhabra, Assistant Professor, Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School at Sushant University. I welcome you all to our first session of the Motivational Speaker Series. transforming setbacks into comebacks. Everyone loves a good comeback story of life, but besides the success, there are n number of struggles and setbacks. Many amongst present here have come across difficulties or an unfortunate incident at some point of their lives that has changed something in and around them. The intensity of the problem and its consequences surely differs. And as they always say, one can never make out what the other person is going through. But what matters is how fast we come out of that trance, leave the past, and search for a light after darkness. Good afternoon, everyone. Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant University, has initiated a series of motivational series with the theme Transforming Setbacks into Comebacks. Motivational session focuses on the human side of change. The undeniable truth is that we all need motivation at all stages of life to achieve what we aim for, besides all odds in life. Sessions like these will help each one of us fight the setbacks, which are an unavoidable part of everyone's journey, and move forward towards growth in life. And what better to have this motivational high coming from the ones who have seen the worst, never gave up in their life, even after a series of not so good incidents. Very first opening session of this series is today. That's 1st of May by Mr. M.S. Neelakantan, coach for hospitality and service industry, English language trainer, and a published author. He'll speak on transforming obstacles into success, for which Sir has rightly named the session as TOSS. I would like our Dean, Dr. Garima Prakash, welcome Mr. M.S. Neelakantan.
A very good afternoon to one and all. And respected sir, it's a great honor and privilege for us that you are here and you're opening this series. When I was conceptualizing and planning this series, the first thing that came to my mind, why not Mr. Neelakantan, who has seen so much in life and risen above all this. So thank you so very much for being here. It's a great privilege and it's a great honor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Neelakantan has been a hospitality coach and a teacher for more than 3 decades now. He has also been a consultant to many corporates on soft skills, hospitality, and media. The turning point in his life when he was 28 years old, due to a cerebral stroke and a partial paralysis, got back to regain his profession and his life. Along the journey of transformation while challenging disability, he has had the unflinching support of his family and extended family of students and friends. Neel, as affectionately called, wore many hats apart from his hospitality management and professional career. He turned into an author with the book Love, Affection and Respect, a teacher's ode to his students. He's a PR consultant, a part-time blogger, a book reviewer, a career counselor, and a coach, even a spare-time cricket commentator. Along the way, he even earned a place in the Limca Book of Records for the first live online sports commentary in India. Presently, he's the academic head at ehotelmanagementschool.com and founder of hospitalitylessonsforyou.com. He also mentors students and is a professional online IELTS English language trainer. He believes in spreading the possibilities of inspiration, overcoming the challenges to live a contented life along all odds. He's top-ranked core expert on hospitality career counseling as a mentor and a life coach. Have you ever heard of a student who named his son on his teacher's name? His most humbling moment as a teacher was on knowing 2 students had named their son Neel in his honor. A rare honor indeed, sir. Let's hear from the man himself and get our much-needed motivational boost. Sir, please, over to you.
You do me honor. You do me great honor with all this description, but I'm a very simple human being. I suffered a setback, and God was kind to give me nice people around me. And I wrote, thank you, the Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant University, Gurugram, and more specifically, Dr. Garima Prakash, my student, my class of 1993, the Institute of Hotel Management, Pusa, New Delhi, for inviting me here, the teaching faculty, the students, and everybody else who's listening in today. I'm a bit nervous to know that I am the opening batsman in the list of much more illustrious batsmen to follow, much more illustrious speakers to follow. Well, what Saurav has said about me is nice to hear, but what does not give it to him was that I made India's first dedicated hospitality lessons website. It took me 1 year to build it with contents. I was to sit from morning to night, at times to the late hours of the night, and it took less than a day, 1 hour, for it to crash. I built it back brick by brick, and then I made it crash proof, and it got merged and acquired by an alumni of mine. And then I became the head academics of Hotel Management School. Now, coming back to motivation, with due respect to the organizers, I debunk the theory of motivation. I believe in inspiration. So it is said that you cannot motivate anybody. Motivated, or you can't be motivated. You can only inspire. And how do you inspire? As a role model. There's no other choice. For me, the most generic role model in this country is the Indian Army officer, because he leads from the front. His men will follow him to hell and back because he's leading them from the front. And coming back to the Indian Army officer inspiration, when I see myself now, as Saurav rightly mentioned, that when you see somebody, you should not judge that person. You never know what that person has gone through. So I bring in a quote from Abraham Lincoln here on success. This is not the position you achieve. You achieve with all the obstacles you have overcome in life. I think that brings us to toss. Overcome obstacles to turn obstacles into success. If I say toss, there's definitely a lot of cricket in it. So be prepared for cricket and the Indian Army. My philosophy for life. You heard of Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan? Mr. Amitabh Bachchan's father for you. For us, Amitabh Bachchan was Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan's son. He is a lovely poet, and one of my favorite 4 lines of his is my philosophy of life. मन का हो तो अच्छा, न हो तो ज्यादा अच्छा, क्योंकि फिर उसमें ऊपर वाले का मन का हो रहा है और वो अच्छा ही करेगा. It says, if what you wish comes true, because is successful, wonderful, very nice. If not, excellent. Why? Because then there's a divine hand in that, and the divine hand will only do good for you. So just leave it to the divine. Now, to enable you to just get an iota of what is limited ability. My right hand is functional hand, my left hand is a non-functional hand. I use my right hand. I'm a right-hander. So I would request all you right-handers to put your left hand behind your back, and you left-handers to put your right hand behind your back. And now, Saurav, would you just put this on screen? Just type out the sentence. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Quick brown fox jumps the lazy dog.
Jumps over the lazy dog. Quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Now type this out with your 5 fingers or 4 fingers. Doesn't matter. How do you know whether you have done it or not? So how do you know whether they completed or not? Or do we proceed next?
Yes.
Right. So I start with the next exercise. Very simple. You just have to type. I will look at the screen now. A S D F G J H semicolon K H J G. That's all.
We have to type it?
Yes. A S D F G H semicolon L KJHG. Right?
Okay.
Now what I want to do something very simple with only one free hand again. Don't do it, just try to do it. Try to press on your keypad Alt, Delete and Control. Just try to do it with your one hand only. Don't do it. You know what happens? Right? So now you get an idea of how much limited ability is all about. Now I had the stroke in 1994, totally paralyzed. And from 1994 onwards till now, that's 21 plus 6, 27 years. From when I get up in the morning, I make my bed with my one hand. I apply toothpaste on the toothbrush with one hand. I shave with one hand. I have a bath with one hand. And all my tasks are done with one hand. So the left hand is impaired. And but I'm much better than anybody else. तो मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. But that's life. Now, along my narrative, I will go into a lot of subplots. I'll come back to the main plot again. And when I summarize, which I'll spend most time on, you'll understand why I went into this subplots. There is a method in the madness. Please bear with me. Now, we are all aware that there is this Indian Army Commando course training at a camp at Belgaum in Maharashtra. It's 39 days, and all the infantry soldiers and officers have to go there. It's compulsory. 39 days you run through the jungle, gets rationed, you're reduced, your water gets rationed, your food gets rationed. Suddenly in the middle of 24 hours, you'll have classes with merciless instructors. Why do they do this? They do this because the test of fire makes fine steel. So when the soldier goes into war, he's used to living off the ground, off reduced without food, without water. Unarmed, he can kill. Armed, he is more lethal. For some of us, life prepares us for the commando course in the beginning itself. For many of us, the middle age. For some, it doesn't. Some just pass away without any need for this commando course. So it depends on people to people. Now coming back to life, there are two nice quotes that I've got on life. The first one's, life is like a game of cards. The hand you're dealt is determinism. The way you play it is free will. That's said so succinctly of life on life by a great man, Jawaharlal Nehru. You are all aware he's India's first Prime Minister. And then there's another clumsy quote. And this is I attribute this to my late communications teacher, a very profound influence on me, Mrs. Asha Verma. Life is not, she's put together all these, she's tried to put together some Shakespearean works and made a nice quote on life. I like this more. I like this very nice. Life is neither a Midsummer Night's Dream, nor is it a tempest, but it is a comedy of errors to be enjoyed as you like it. Late Mrs. Asha Verma. Now coming back to toss, if you see my tagline or copy as you overcome success, to overcome success, I mean, what is that? I forget now. I keep forgetting that. Turning obstacles into success. This is what happens after a stroke and memory. Turning obstacles into success. Now, toss also is related to cricket. So here I bring the cricket language. Why I love Test cricket and I abhor T20s, and I still can tolerate one-day internationals, but I just can't stand T20. Test matches are a test of your character, a test of your talent, your technique, your stamina, your focus, your concentration, and over 5 days. And plus, of course, your batting skills, your bowling skills, your fielding skills, and with Lady Luck playing a huge factor. And in test matches, you get 2 chances. At least you get a second chance. If you fail in the first innings, at least you have a chance of getting even if you get out in the second innings, even for the first ball duck, at least we thankfully got a chance In T20s, you don't get a chance. Life is like Test cricket. It gave me a second chance, so I always liken it to Test cricket. So coming back to my narrative, I'll go through my narrative very fast. My life story. I'll come to the summary, which is very important. My dream was to be an Indian Army officer. My uncle had fought World War II in Basra, Iraq. So I was focused on becoming an Indian Army officer. I was doing everything for it. And the 11th standard, when playing basketball practice match for an crucial interclass match, I broke my forearm into two. So General Hospital, Sunday, being holiday, there was no senior surgeons, no senior doctors. The intern passed me up. Next morning, the senior doctor came and did that sound, the dangerous sound. Then he said, sorry, we have to insert steel plates into your hand. Here I was already grieving for letting my team down in the crucial semifinals. And then there my world shattered, because steel plates means no, never ever. A fracture will still heal. And then my world shattered there, because I had invested in costs of money, costs of time and energy, taking tutorials from a tutor for the science and math, because I was a commerce student. So I wanted to do well in the entrance exam. I wanted to get the knowledge. So everything went for those. But man ka ho to acha, na ho to aur bhi acha. So then I decided plan B, that I will study well in 12th standard. And I'll become a English commentator, cricket commentator on all-India radio. So already doing UANI programs, and my language skills are good. So I decided to do English literature, but I got 57% in my 12th standard, despite my best of efforts. So I settled for a ordinary morning college. I mean, an ordinary morning college, commerce. But luckily next door was a 4-star hotel, Natraj Hotel. And one of my uncles had a family wedding, was a Taj Mahal Bombay commercial manager. Sales manager told me, why don't you do hotel management? At that time in 1983, 1982, hotel management was meant for those who didn't get anywhere else, who had very low marks. Yet I took up a suggestion. I joined this hotel, earned some good money, and life went along. And then I applied for this Institute of Hotel Management Bombay admission test. And the Institute of Hotel Management Bombay is the first Institute of Hotel Management to be established in India. So it was the premier institute. So on June 26, 1983 was my entrance test. And I spoiled it totally, because on June 25th, the entire India celebrated as one, because we had upset the cricketing world with Kapil's Devils winning the World Cup at Lord's on June 25th. I was up awake till 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought 2-3 typical time filter coffees will get me over, but it only helped momentarily. The test, needless to say, I was bad. I performed the team. When on the way back home to Ahmedabad on the train, I realized, no chance, I wouldn't get it. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा, क्योंकि उसमें ऊपर वाले का मन का हो रहा है. And then the typical thing, and then Institute of Hotel Management Ahmedabad, I saw the ad, interview only, 57% required. I said, good. 50% required. I said, 57 mera hai, 7% extra. I'll get this, an interview. And luckily for me, one of the interviewers was the Natraj Hotel director. So I sailed through the interview because of my knowledge and because of my interviewee skills. And I managed with this grace marks also. So I passed out of the first batch of Institute of Hotel Management Ahmedabad. I then joined Welcome to Baroda, the pre-opening team, Welcome Front Office, Taj, West End, Bangalore, FMB, Rambagh Palace, Jaipur. And then in between, at the Hotel Management Campus, Ahmedabad, the campus, I had refused Taj Management trainee because they were offering me FNB and I wanted a front office. I said, no, I want front office. And I don't regret it. So then I joined. For a lark, I applied from Rambagh to IHM Pusa for interview for a teacher. And I got through. And that, because I got to meet in 1989, from 1989, the finest folks in my life ever, in the finest times of my life ever. There'll never be times of those, and there'll never be people like those in my life. absolute angels. While working there, I was my group of managers who came from Mauritius on the UNDP WTA program. I was assigned as a faculty in waiting. The leader was a Gujarati. I spoke very well Gujarati, so he and I got along very well. On the eve of leaving, they told me that they nominated my name for going to Mauritius. It was an exchange program. I had no idea. But my HOD took that program on basis of seniority. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो अभी अच्छा. And I was offered to co-author a book with Mr. Andrews, the front of his book, front of his training manual. But Mr. Andrews got deposed. So at age 27, I would have become a co-author with Mr. Andrews. But he got deposed in a coup de grace. And then I lost another opportunity. But man ka ho to acha, na ho to abhi acha. In 1994, despite being such a teacher who was loved by students, and I was really enjoying my life, because I found out that sharing knowledge was my passion. I loved sharing knowledge. And at Pusa, from morning 8 o'clock to night 11 hours with my students. And after classroom session was the best because we had a little mini India there. These lovely folks from the northeast of India, the majority of the army children, the Tamilians, the Malayalis, the Kannadigas, the Andhrites, the Maharashtrians, the Punjabis, the Delhiites, the Bengalis. I mean, you had everybody. So there was so much of learning. Oh, those debates on the lawns were fantastic. No TV debate would last like that. It was brilliant. So much of learning, so much of soaking of knowledge and learning on literature, art, world wars, football, sports, paintings, art, architecture. My students had so much of knowledge and I imbibed so much from them. And I loved those interactions. And books, of course, authors, films, songs. In 1994, I was frustrated by the system there who didn't allow me given the latitude to work. So regretfully, I had to quit. The January of 1994, January, as you know, in Delhi is a very cold month and grey skies, and it was a terrible weather then that day. It was terrible for me also. I regretted also. In a way, I was regretting resigning, but I had no other choice. So I had a nice offer to join a management consultant. I went to Bangalore, a resident manager of the country club in Bangalore. I was newly married. My wife and I just married about a year back in 1993, January. So I went there first. I took over the club as resident manager. On the Shivratri of 1994, Monday evening, Doordarshan 2 came to the club, and Girish Karnad, the noted playwright, an actor and director, was there. And he and I did a chat show for Doordarshan 2. I never could see that next day. The chat show on literature, on Malgudi days, on films, on movies, on music. A wonderful chat. A very well learned man, a very well versed man, and it was a pleasure chatting with him. But I could never see that program next day. I'll tell you why. And that very same soon evening, Prasad Bidappa, the fashion guru who was groomed Aishwarya Rai, was groomed Deepika Padukone, Anushka Sharma, to levels where they had me and said, Neil, you're just right for a still model for white goods. Come to my studio tomorrow, Brigade Road. I'll do your portfolio. And I was like, wow. People follow themselves to get Prasad Bidappa's attention. Here he calls me. Muhammad, Allah calling Muhammad. I was baffled. And I was on the moon that day. I said, model ban gaya main to, bas, ab to meri problem nahi hai, khatam ho gayi. That evening was the farewell party for a VP of Wipro. I was there. So finishing the party fast, I wrapped it up. I kicked my scooter, newly married wife at home. I want to go home as soon as possible. So it was the Hosur Road, known as the Old Madras Road, where the buses and the trucks ply on high speed to Madras at 11 o'clock, 11:30. And there I just fell off the scooter on my left side. I just fell off. I remember still recall. I just fell off. I tried to get up. I could see buses and cars and trucks whizzing past at full speed. Well, if I'd fallen on the right side, either I would have been alive with my legs crushed or my hands crushed or something crushed, or I would have been history. I wouldn't be sitting here and talking to you. But I fell on the left side, off the road, on the. So here I was on the road. So I tried to get up. I couldn't get up. And I touched myself with my right hand and I said, that feels good, but that is dangerous. I checked myself for small wounds. It was dark, but I couldn't see. But I checked myself for anything hurt. I could not feel anything hurt. And then I felt something sticky flowing from my nostrils and to my ears. And I said, that is dangerous. No wounds, no bruises, late night, something sticky coming from your nose and your ears. And my left side felt heavy. I could not, when you give a command from your brain to your nerves to move the left hand, left leg, I was giving command, but it was not moving. Then I used my right hand to touch my left hand and to lift it. It felt as heavy as a log. My staff was coming behind, picked me up, took me to the hospital. And then I woke up 56 hours later in the ICU. Apparently, they had drilled my head in the night. They had removed a clot from there, which had paralyzed my left side. On recollection, I still smile with a wry sense of humor that in school we learned that science lesson, that the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. I learned it the hard way. And then, after when I woke up out of the sleep, comatose, I still realized that my left side was fully paralyzed. My mouth had gotten here. I couldn't see this side at all. Anyway, we were discharged from hospital and we had to go home. When we went home, they propped me on the bed. New challenges. Excuse me, I'll have some water. And then I learned that troubles don't come in, they come in pairs. The night we were at the hospital, a burglar had stepped into a house and stolen all my wife's jewelry and all the cash in the home. Luckily, my maternal cousin was the inspector on that area. We recovered everything, but then wondering how troubles come in pairs and not alone. So here I was facing new challenges. How do I manage now? How do I clean myself a toilet? The commando course training, lessons of practicing my left hand in. Those same lessons came in handy. How to use a toothbrush and a toothpaste with one hand. But then I was young at that time, and my left leg didn't have a problem. Now I had a problem going to the walking. So I would just fall off if I stood. So I was swinging to left side, almost like that. My whole body was like that, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Anyway, with the support of my wife, I managed. And then came the being handicapped. See on the screen now, you see my photograph, how I looked. And here was this man who used to play cricket every Saturday, and every morning run 3 kilometers in the Pusa agricultural campus, 100 acres of area of agricultural complex. And suddenly he finds himself paralyzed. He can't move. Of course, that why me first comes into thing. The negativity comes in. And then slowly acceptance comes in to say, how do I change? And then the trial and success. I don't call it trial and error. I said trial and success. Why do you think negative? Say trial and success. Then you get it right. My portfolio of Prasad Vidya was ruled out. My work at the country was ruled out. A hotel man, quick on foot. So from there we went to Kerala to that famous Ayurvedic Kottakkal for Ayurvedic healing. I went in a wheelchair and I came back and walking, but I was walking like this with my instep first and then my ankle. When I was walking after my stroke, my left hand would stretch with my left leg. I couldn't swing my arms as we normally do. And with the left leg, the fist, the fingers are closed like this. Nobody could open it. So it was typically like an army dream, like how soldiers walk during a solemn, it's called the slow march, a solemn occasion when they're carrying the mortal remains of a comrade or a martyr or paying homage to a national hero, the flag draped over the coffin. That's when they walk like this, a slow march. So maybe I was walking, reliving my dream of being a soldier. Challenges. No more wearing ankle cannot hold the slipper. I cannot wrap a towel around myself. How do I you use the bathroom and come out wearing clothes? Can't. I have to stand on one leg to wear my clothes. More simpler than that is the choice of the problem of wearing a shirt. How do you wear a shirt? You're so used to putting it back and then putting both your hand anywhere you like. And so now you learn, you put your left hand first, then you wrap it around here like this, and then put your right hand. And for a man who's been shaving since 1983, the first day of college of hotel management, after brushing his teeth, suddenly he has the ignominy of sitting down on the bed with a small vanity mirror and shave. And he realizes that when people tell him that, hello, you forgot to shave your left side. I had totally forgotten my left side. So it was terrible. I was an apology for man that time. When I looked, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I hated myself at that time because I was drooling from the mouth. My left shoulder joint had come out. My left hip joint had come out. I was walking like a hobbled animal. Have you seen these owners of cattle and sheep, etc., who hobble the front leg and the rear leg with a rope so the animals can't run away? I was hobbling like that. So my ankle was dragging with my respiratory system was not normal. My respiratory system, better not say anything about it, nor my digestive system. On trains and buses, I could not drink, eat, because if I ate or drank something, I would sipped water, I just sipped tea. And no late night trains. I could not take a night train. I could not take a night bus. Even on planes, I would not eat or drink anything. Till I alighted, I went to the hotel or wherever. Then I would have my cup of tea. I knew there was a toilet nearby. I would wear my right shoe. I would wear my pair of shoes. I would put on my right leg, socks on the right leg, and then I put on my shoes on the left leg and right leg and walk off. Or in hindsight, it looks funny. I would have tucked in my right side of the shirt into my trousers, and I would not have tucked my left side. And here I'm ready to go out. My daughter and my wife go, excuse me, are you going to the circus? Why? No, the vacancy for the clown? No. Oh my dear, oh God. And I go back again. To take the 6 o'clock Shatabdi to Bangalore, earlier you get up at 4:30, 5, 4:15, and still make it relaxed. But now I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and still be a little tense. Would I be able to make it? Challenges. So you heard of the curse of Sisyphus, the Greek myth of Sisyphus. Now Sisyphus was cursed by Zeus, the god, that his curse was he had to roll up a boulder up a hill. And when he finally came to the top, the boulder rolled all downwards. So he had to go again down and push the boulder again till top. This continued in all his life. So that was his curse. At times I felt maybe I was like Sisyphus. But whatever I did, ultimately came down because whatever work I did was still unfinished. I had to redo it again. Trial and success. But as I say, In your good times, your friends know you. In your bad times, you know your friends, and I know them. And nothing better than the song. So the song and photograph is better than 100 words. So the song called "कसमें वादे प्यार वफा सब बातें हैं बातों."
Back on.
Yes. And when I went to Kottakkal, Aridashala Kottakkal, I told the doctor there, the physician, I am not an accident case. I'm a hemorrhage case. But he would not believe me because he had to go by the Manipal hospital discharge summary, which said accident case was. If I was found on the road, which okay, fair enough. So he treated me for an accident case, which was not his fault. Because he went by the doctor's version. And in this time, Kasme Wade Pyar Wafa, I realized that I was abandoned by the house I was born in. I only had my wife and my in-law support, and of course my extended support of my extended family support, my students, my friends. I knew who my friends were then. Those lovely friends on the media, and very many strangers. That's when you realize God sends you strangers, angels in the form of strangers, and they come out of nowhere and they help you out, and you find them when you least expect them. And the friends you thought were friends, and the family you thought were family, they melt like snowflakes in the month of May in Delhi summers. And the train to Delhi, now you understand even an able-bodied man finds it difficult to go to the toilet in the train, in the washroom, and look at me there. But when you got to do it, you got to do it. So I didn't eat much. I just sipped water. I just ate fruit and biscuit, and I managed. Then I went home, and wow, the first cup of filter coffee at my in-law's place, typical Tam Ram house, it felt like ambrosia. It tasted like ambrosia, nectar, pure nectar. Then I said, I'm home and there's a washroom here. I can have as many filter cups as I can. But once we reached Delhi, we found out that my wife had conceived the night before my stroke. And she had a baby in her womb. So look at the typical Greek tragedy. When I should have been attending to her as a husband with our baby in her womb, she had to attend to me. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. I said to the employer, then the usual thing happened that T20s, I had to play T20s in my life. I was sent to Delhi, Madras by my employers for opening 3 restaurants. I came back after opening it. Got good money. I at least paid for substantially contributed to my wife's hospital charges for my baby's delivery. And then wherever I found work, I started work. Writing questions for a question bank for the cricket quiz for a local TV channel. Made some money there. That channel closed down. Sisyphus, the myth of Sisyphus relived. On my follow visit to Kottakkal, Aridashala Kottakkal, the physician told me, so I'm sorry. And he's such a wonderful person. At the age of 80, he apologizes to me. Such a senior person. He apologizes and says, sorry, I was mistaken. You are not an accident case, you're a hemorrhage case. I said, that's my fate, my karma. Anyway, for all those friends and family, I carry no hate. Karma will take care of it. As simple as that. Karma will take care of it. If I have to pay for something, I have to pay for it. Karma will make sure that I pay for it. If I have to be rewarded, my karma will reward it. You cannot escape karma. When the karma has not saved the gods, what will it save us? What are we lesser mortals? On my second visit to Kottakkal, the Sri Lankan president, former Sri Lankan president, Sri Mavo Bhandaranaike was there for treatment. The Week magazine, wanted to do a story. And since I was the only one there who could speak English, they featured me also. Totally tonsured, like looking like Shakhal and Shan. You know? You've seen Shan's Shakhal, sitting with this tonsured head. I looked like Telly Kojak series. Not a very good picture, but I was featured in the Week magazine, with a photograph and my, a 3 column interview. Not bad. I took up a job in Delhi as a marketing manager of a resort. Did excellent marketing. I had to leave it because they posted me as resident manager. And there I couldn't manage, so I had to quit. I came back. And then I joined Orphic Resorts as the marketing manager for the group. And that's where I met Mr. Akshay Chaturvedi, General Manager Operations, who said one day when I was cribbing about my disability, says, Neil, damn it, you use a lot of expletives, which I cannot repeat here, the typical hotel learning expletives. Damn it, your this works better than, your this doesn't work as well as everybody else's, but your this works better than everybody else. Use it, damn it. And that dot, the X, typical hotel language. He ensured that I got the message through, and I used it. That was a big thing in my favor. I got the message, yes, my this works better. But I still could not speak properly. My speak was garbled. Even today, my speech is a little garbled, but it's much, much better than before. And then I was fired, terminated from Orphic Resort because I one day had a seizure late night in the office. I had done in my first sale 50% of the annual sale of my department. Despite that, and despite getting the MD's interview in the Economic Times Sunday in these editorial pages, in the Pioneer Pulse, etc., a lot of publicity. Yet, thank you. And then I did a couple of other jobs, but everywhere I found the same thing, that they're using my services. I said thank you. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. So I decided to pack up my bags from Delhi. I said, listen, Delhi is not working out for me. Like a typical, when you play cricket, if a fielder drops a catch, and if you keep changing the fielder around, they say that the bad ball, the field, it'll always follow the fielder. No matter where you post it, the catch will go there. So whatever you do, you can't escape your fate. So I went to Madras, where my parents were, and I got a lovely opening with Satyam Computers, which at that time was at Apogee, with ERP, the Enterprise Resource Planning, is at the expansion of that, as the executive assistant to the VP, John Devasayam. And my job was to ensure that the team and his bookings, flight bookings, their hotel bookings, I enjoyed it because I love talking to hotels, my industry. But very soon they realized that I was not technique savvy, the ERP stuff. So I had to leave from there. And John said something. He says, Neil, unfortunately, he says, Neil, we all are handicapped. Unfortunately, yours shows. There are another lovely message from a nice person. मन का हो तो अच्छा, न हो तो और भी अच्छा. क्योंकि उसमें ऊपर वाले का मन का हो रहा है, जो अच्छा ही करेगा. Believe Satyam with an excellent pay scale. I was drawing that time in 1998, 25,000 rupees was allowances. That was a huge amount. Then I joined a Canon School of Hotel Management, a private college, as a lecturer. $5,000 a month salary. I don't need that. Joined there. But my dream of being an all-day radio commentator had not died yet. So I went for all-day radio recording. And my first recording, they said, fantastic voice, great voice. You're excellent for a cricket commentary. We'll send the voice recording to Delhi. And we are sure that it'll be approved. I did not know that Delhi, we had a policy here that we had to have a ministerial influence to get your name listed in the elite body of commentators. I was rejected. So then I'm back again. In the meantime, I go to lend my voice for a CBT, computer-based tutorials with Pentamedia Graphics, an upcoming company that time. Like Byju's. CBTs were like Byju's in that time. And Pentamedia was a company that launched webcasting in the year 2000, 5 years before YouTube launched it. Excellent pay. As a full-time consultant, drawing 30,000 a month. My wife and my daughter already joined me by that time. And we did our career commentary online on that. But that company folded up because of the chairman's avarice. The share prices, which are going at about 500 or 300 rupees per share, just dropped down in an overnight to 10 rupees or 5 rupees. I mean, one shareholder's words, and suddenly it became not even worth toilet paper. So then in the meantime, when I joined Petameter. We had met up with the Deccan Aviation, India's first private heli charter company. And they were looking for a marketing executive. And we wanted them to put an ad in our program. And they said, we're looking for a marketing manager. And so when I lost my job with Pentamedia, I called them. I called Colonel Sharma, the base manager. I said, "You're looking for a marketing manager?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I'm available." He said, "Great, fantastic, come over." So I joined Deccan Aviation, India's first private heli charter company, co-founded by Colonel Samuel and Captain Gopinath, Army officers, 1971 veterans. And all my peers and supervisors and everybody else were all retired Army, Air Force, Navy officers, primarily Army and Air Force officers who flew helicopters in the forces. Deccan was closing the base in Madras because of no business. So I quit Deccan and I joined SIP Academy, a startup, which was into abacus and into global art for children. Startup. I worked with them for 10 years, my longest stint with any corporate, any company for the matter. I almost did a test match with FUSA for 5 years, 4.5 years. If it was 5 days, it would have been a test match. Here I played 2 test matches, 10 years, 2003, 2014 almost. And then I had to leave because we built a house in Kerala, in a village. We planned to start a homestay. In the meantime, I had gone to Delhi, and there I met one of my students who put me onto an ashram in South India. He said, "Go there, get yourself healed." My left leg, because my left joint had come out, my hip joint, my waist, despite my waist being 36 inches, I had to wear 38 inches trousers because my right side, the trouser would slip in and loose, but the left side would be tight. It couldn't go up, so I had to wear 38. When I went to that ashram, the healers healed me rather. They ensured that my neck became properly adjoined to the body. There was a shrieking like this. I saw these frequent seizures because of that. Because there was no proper blood flow to the brain from the spinal cord. There was not much of the nerve functioning between the spinal cord and the column and the brain. So they put back the shoulder joint in place, they put back the ankle in place, they put back the hip joint in place. I just set my spinal cord properly. My excretory system started working beautifully, and the respiratory system working beautiful. Everything was beautiful. I do some exercise in the morning, evening, and I'm eternally grateful to my student who directed me there, and to those healers, and to my wife and daughter who stood by me and my in-laws. And then I was offered a job there with Franklin Institute of Hotel Management in Palakkad. So here's a teacher from Delhi. So they employed me for 1 year. They used my name to build up a brand and said, "Thank you very much." So I got the message. Oh, now the brand is built. So thank you. It was an nascent, but just upcoming that time. In the meantime, I got a job as a trainer, how do you call it? A consultant trainer with a resort called the Coconut Lagoon in Pollachi near Coimbatore. I used to go once in a week, train them, come back. They send a card, I would go there. 1 month after I made my training manager, I gave it to them. They said, "Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I understand. Good day to you. Nice meeting you." And I came back. And the most unkindest cut in life came now. So a media friend, the former PRO of VIT University, the Vellore Institute of Technology, gave me a call and said, "We have a very small upcoming hotel management institute coming up in the VIT campus, but we want to create a special chef's hub." What are those terms? Chef's hub. We want to do a tie with the Sunrise Academy in Singapore. We are trying to get through to them, but we're not able to get through to them. You can help us. We'd like you to be on our board as a consultant, the academic head or whatever. So I said, fair enough. I remember a student of mine called Chef Abhijit Saha, entrepreneur chef in Bangalore doing very well. Mentioning Sunrise Club somewhere. I called him, sir, आपको अगर benefit हो रहा है, so definitely this name, this reference, this phone number, I was going to call him, and with my reference. The chef team came from 4 chefs came from Singapore, absolutely on their own expenses. They came to Madras, they met the president, they met the PRO, and I don't know what happened after that. And then before that, my telephonic interview had been done with the deans of the university. And after that, the so-called meeting with the supposed meeting with the president never happened. That hurt. That still rankles. It really hurts me even today. I don't know why, but let me come to my summary. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा, क्योंकि उसमें ऊपर वाले का मन का हो रहा है जो अच्छा ही करेगा. Sorry, excuse me, let me have some water. Now let's look at what all happened in my life and look at this man ka ho to acha. And I'll tell you why I love this philosophy. If I joined IHM Bombay, the first institute that was established in India, I would have been just one alumni amongst many. My father would have to pay for the hostel fees and for my weekend trips for the long weekend from Bombay to Ahmedabad by bus or by train. But here, I joined IHM Ahmedabad, and I was the first batch, and majority of my alumni know me by name. And in the year 1985-86, my buddy, the newer Eve, my buddy Praveen Roy, who's the Associate Director of Lausanne, India. Now that again justifies that you don't have to be from a big institute to get into a very high position in your life. Even from small institutes, people do make it to the big positions in life. Praveen Roy is one example, tenacity and the ability to go forward in life without carrying baggage. I just love him for that. Anyway, we thought of doing this commercial activity of New Year Eve. So in 1985, Ahmedabad was a very, very small town. Very, very small town. So we approached Godfrey Phillips, the makers of Foursquare cigarettes. We extended some 10,000. They offered us 3 lakhs and said, we'll only be the. They said, would you agree? Our only answer was, is the Pope Christian? That's it. And we got 1 lakh rupees sponsorship from Vadilal Ice Creams and Rasna, those juices, in kind. So Foursquare with 3 lakh rupees cash and as many cartons of cigarettes you want. And using that, we sold 1 lakh rupees worth tickets sales, and we made a 32 feet long cake, which was a central attraction. Now people in Ahmedabad thought, wow, a 32 feet cake. But the hoteliers know how to make fools of people. They didn't know that we made about 8-10 sponges and joined them together, patch it up, and put a cream on this feet cake. And when we passed out, our batch passed out, the first batch, the class of 86, we gifted 4 lakhs as the monies into the students' treasury for the student body funds. It was a proud moment for our batch, the first batch. And the IHM Ahmedabad still remains the first institute to do this kind of activity at such a scale with total sponsorship. It was one of the finest moments in the life history of IHM Ahmedabad. And still today, my principal remembers that, saying that was the moment of IHM Ahmedabad. And in remember that Mauritius, I missed the trip to Mauritius because my senior took it and I was heartbroken. In 1993, the year of marriage, my father-in-law had to go to Mauritius. I said, listen, wait, let me make 2-3 calls. I called up Vinod Mehta and I said, "Aise main sasur ja rahe hain." He was given a red carpet welcome. He said, you didn't come. So the father will get the same kind of trip. But he said, the only condition you need, get me as many dabbas of pan paral. So the three of them going. So we filled one suitcase full of pan parags. Because he was a Gujarati, he loved pan parag. So pan parag, and that's what. That was the only thing that he wanted from us. If I had gone to Mauritius or not gone, it doesn't matter because my father got the same privileges. And that was the first year of marriage. So at home, at my in-laws' house, I looked and I was like, "Hey, man has got connections in Mauritius also." And in 2014, three of my students, they put 3 lakh rupees or 3 lakh rupees into my account and put a gun to my head and said, "You have to write your memoirs about yourself and about us." I said, "Why?" I said, "Because हम लोग सब कुछ भूल गए, आपको सब याद है about us." And that's when that humbling moment came. To know that two of them named their son Neil. That is really humbling. I still cannot get over it. What did I do extra, such a big thing that they named the son Neil? I was just having fun. And not only this happened, I sat down for 1 year from morning to evening on my table and I just wrote, and the book got published, my memoirs. Love, affection, and respect. A teacher's word. Chef, can you just put up that on the screen? You can see the cover page on screen. And that cover page was designed by another student, Meher Sarid. She's one of India's first celebrity wedding planner and one of the best creative minds this side of the Suez Canal. I'm finally for me, I feel the best. And the book was launched and it had a foreword by Dr. Sudhir Andrews. Making up maybe for that co-authoring that I lost, life had made up for that co-authoring that I lost. And Mrs. Anshu Maheshwari Arora, Dr. Anshu Maheshwari Arora, the principal MIT International Gurugram, my class of 1993, mentions my name in her book, Say Bye to Goodbye, as one of the 3 teachers out of the 300 in her life who influenced her as a teacher. Man ka ho to acha, na ho to acha. So, in a way, life came out well. Co-authoring with a legend. I lost that opportunity with Dr. Andrews. But now I am co-authoring with a cricket legend named Mr. R. Mohan, the former sports editor of The Hindu and the resident editor, the Deccan Chronicle, Tamil Nadu. And what another veteran cricket journalist says about Mohan, I'll read this out now. What R. Mohan doesn't know of cricket writing, nobody knows. Even if he has stopped traveling on cricket tours for decades, he keeps his finger on the pulse and takes his reader along with splendor. R. Mohan was personally invited by Sachin Tendulkar on his last test at Bombay Wankhede, his retirement test. That's the kind of man he is. That came back. I went for a voiceover at Penta Media for that computer-based tutorials. They liked my voice and said, let's do commentary, webcasting. So we did commentary in 2000 for the ICC Champions Trophy when Yuvraj Singh announced his presence. And I was doing commentary with Krishnamacharya Shrikant, the first online commentary in India, in Hindi and English. Krishnamacharya Shrikant, the same villain who upset my IHM Bombay test. Remember, in 1983, he was the opening batsman for a team. He was a villain. But here he was next to me. Before that, at Deccan, I lived my army life in full measure. They were all retired army officers of the rank of colonels and above, wing commanders. And they never ever gave me sympathy. They gave me empathy. And they treated me as just another of a brother officer. It was wonderful with them. I lived my army life with them fully. I still live my army life full with them because if I go to Bangalore, I'm hosted by Colonel Samuel, the co-founder of Deccan. I keep in touch with each of them. So working in Natraj Hotel not only helped me get the basics of hotel management before I joined IHM, but the money I earned from there ensured that I paid for my 3-year hotel management diploma from my own earnings, my own sweat and blood, sweat and toil tears. I didn't take a penny from my father. At IHM City Pusa, majority of my students were from the army background. Now, if I had joined the NDA, I'd have been waiting on their father. They were all brigadiers and colonel rank and above. Now here the roles that it was, they would come to meet me. मन का हो तो अच्छा, न हो तो और भी अच्छा. If I had become a management trainee with the Taj Group hotels or with the Welcome Group when I had joined them, so I would have retired as a manager, a vice president, or still a manager, but vice president is still a manager if I made it to VP. But here, from my classrooms, went into the world the former MD of Barclays Bank India, the former country head, Reuters, Thomson Reuters, the former President Oberoi, and now the CEO of Postcard Hotels, and 2 senior VPs of Taj, 1 VP HR with ITC Hotels, the Director Revenue and Marketing, the Singapore-based Pan Pacific Group of Hotels, and one of India's first celebrity wedding planner, Meher Sarad. An Indian Army officer, and one of them a black cat commando who was supposed to go to Taj but didn't go, was held back. Because that time he was India's only anti-hijacking expert. And of course, the Agatha Christie of the East, as the media titles her, Madhulika Little, who writes like Agatha Christie, but based on India. Her stories are based on the Mughal courts. She graduated from my classroom. And Amit Kumar, the director of Monsoon Shootout, the full-length film with Nawazuddin Sheikh, and who now does serials for Amazon. He's commissioned by Amazon. I realized my little bit of my journalistic ambition that Pusa, the moment I joined, they made me the editor of the faculty club, the faculty editor of the writers club. So my team brought out the monthly newsletter called Some Achar. And then in 1991, with Meher Sarad being there, the creative head, he brought out the annual 91. And quote unquote, Mr. Joshi Manohar, one of the first teachers who had joined Pusa. So he's been there at Pusa since the beginning. He says, Neil, this is the finest publication at Pusa till date that can never be replicated. When I went to the National Council office in 2012 or somewhere, Mr. Satvir Singh, the director of academics, who was a student from 90 class of 1994, he introduced me to others who already know me, saying this man is the person who introduced flow charts. The first teacher I know in IHMs who introduced flow charts to teach processes and systems. They found it so easy. Whenever I joined the principal of college, I taught teachers to use flow charts. So thank God I didn't become an MT with Taj or Welcome Group. And at IHMC Pusa, 1990, we did the Intercat, one of the finest, the best, biggest ever Intercating College Festival. And as a faculty editor, I was responsible for bringing out the daily Samachar in the morning. Some achar, not Samachar, some achar, some pickle. And the ghosts, the demons of that, losing that 1981, that semi-final, the inter-class semi-final, laid to rest forever. When I played and I coached my team, I played with my team. I didn't play with them, practice with them, but I coached and I played with them. But they won us the Intercat basketball trophy, beating Bombay, needle final, Delhi Bombay, the needle final. We beat them in hockey. We beat them in football and football also, which I was managing the team. So again, all those, the past, all the demons of the past, laid to rest. And 1992, I managed the IHM cricket team, and we win the Thumbs Up Inter Hotel cricket tournament. Easily, convincingly beat them. And again, Mr. Joshi says, this is the biggest and the finest sports trophy ever won by Pusa outside of Pusa. You would know, you've been there since the beginning. And remember that private institute in Madras where I was given 6 months to find a new job by the MD. When I was taking my final collections, I said, thank you very much, sir, but you don't feel bad. He was feeling bad. I said, this is a karmic thing. You said your family was the Karur Vysya Bank in Kerala. My grandfather, maternal grandfather, had deposited some more 10,000 rupees in those days, 1930s or 1940s. Because he used to walk from village to village carrying books and sell the books. And one day the Travancore, the Maharaja of Travancore, whose account was there in the bank, Karur Vaisya Bank, the Diwan was a very haughty man, C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer, had a problem, ego problem. He withdrew all the money, all the assets from the bank, Karur Vaisya Bank. So suddenly there was a rumor, an inspector rumor that Karur Vaisya Bank is going bankrupt. So people, more and more people went to the bank to pick up their money. So suddenly how do you put it, the stock of money in the bank ran out. So people suffered because the rumor went out, Karur Vaisya Bank has become bankrupt. My grandfather heard this news and he passed away due to a heart attack. So I was sent from Delhi to get that money for my family. I earned it, but that's a different matter. And in 2017, 25 years after my class of 1992, my first batch that I taught and the best batch that I ever had. I always tell them that. But they took all my tantrums. I experimented with them and they accepted me as they are. They were having the Silver Jubilee reunion of passing out. And I was the only teacher invited. They flew me from Palakkad to Delhi, hosted me at the Ashoka Hotel for 2 nights and 3 days, and they flew me back, all at their cost. There are 70 of them. It was a great moment. You should share the photographs of that, so you can see how I was there with them. And they are these great guys. My stars in the when I look up at them like this. They came as shy, awkward, gauche, absolutely gauche, and raw into it. Like today, they are directors, MDs, senior VPs. It's a proud moment. Chef Sunil. Hello.
Yes, sir. Just bringing it on. Just bringing it on.
Yeah, yes.
Is it visible? Yes, the picture visible. I just removed it. You're back on.
And then in Delhi, I materialized my journalist ambitions in a bigger way when at Deccan, the Pioneer newspaper supplement, the Pioneer Pulse Sunday editor. I met with her, and I used to write a column every Sunday on food, beverages, cuisine, and lifestyle. I became a columnist, not an ordinary journalist. I didn't become a hack, a little upgraded version of a journalist. अच्छा मन का हो तो अच्छा, न हो तो और भी अच्छा, क्योंकि उसमें ऊपर वाले का मन का हो रहा है ना, वो अच्छा ही करेगा. When I went to Madras, I started reviewing books for Deccan Chronicle, and that only, I believe, seasoned veteran journalists are given that opportunity. Not only did I get paid, but I got to keep the book, which was newly released. So now I have about 300 books in my library at home. And at times before they launch in the market. ना हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो अच्छा, और भी अच्छा. And all-day radio, and I have something that Amitabh Bachchan doesn't have. Amitabh Bachchan is a great actor, is a great celebrity. We all know that. But I got something which he doesn't have. On his first all-day radio recording, when he went as an announcer, he was rejected because of the voice. I got accepted. That's something much better than Amitabh Bachchan in some way or the other. Man ka ho to acha, na ho to aur bhi acha. My role models, everybody has role models now in their life. My role models, Sudha Chandran, my niece. You heard of Sudha Chandran? Nache Mayuri, the girl who's the Bharatanatyam dancer, who in her teenage years, when she was a minor, a bus accident, her ankle had to be amputated because of gangrene. And then she put on a Jaipur foot and she danced her way back into stardom. And a film was made on her, a Telugu film which was made into Hindi again, Nache Mayuri. She comes in all these TV serials. As one famous serial of her was that she came as a villainous Ramola Sikand. She runs about 6 or 7 dance academies in Bombay. She still dances. Comes on these dance shows as a judge, and she still dances. Dr. Shivani Gupta. I will not say anything more about her because she will follow the list of more listed speakers. And she was a role model. I'll say Dr. Shivani Gupta. That's it. She was 2 years senior to Garima, 1991 batch. But there's a lady, but that lady is a role model. And you'll tell, and I will not say anything about her. That's it. Sujaya Walia. That is, she's Garima's coursemate. Again, another role model of a student. So these two are my students, but they now become my role model. I have learning from them. I will not talk anything about her, but she's following the list of speakers. Wilma Rudolph, the American black athlete, who was at a very young age, some eighth child of a black couple. She had scarlet fever, she had pneumonia, she had everything else, and she had polio because of that. She wore a brace on her left leg. She couldn't walk properly. Her mother made her walk. She walked. Then she started walking fast. Then she started running. And then she went for the university trials and the US trials, and she got the gold in the sprints. Not even a long distance, a sprint for the US in the Olympics. And Karoli Tokacs, the Hungarian shooter, the army man again, who was to shoot. A shooter was right hand. A defective grenade busted the right hand. He went away from public glare, started practicing the left hand. 10 years later, because of World War, when the Olympics were stopped in 1940 came again 1948 in the London Games, he won a gold for his country using his left hand. Karoli Tokacs, Karoly Tokacs. Attitude. At the most, kya ho? Please regret it. Don't regret it later. Try karo. I used to tell my students when they used to come to discuss with me their personal problem. So I am in love with this girl. Should I propose to her? Then go ahead and tell her if you love her. At the most, kya karegi? Thapad maregi. Na, jaan to nahi legi na. But later, 25 years later, when you meet her at a reunion and you see her with some terrible guy and say, why didn't I propose to her? So at the most, kya hoga? Do it, na? Nike, just do it. But don't regret later. I had this vague theory about life which I forgot in from you in the beginning. The bus theory of life. Bus theory, bus on a DTC bus, transport buses. Now, Ahmedabad is a very, very small town in those days when I was in school, 1970s. And I had to go 12 kilometers far to my school. I had to change. It was a one direct bus, or there were three buses I had to change, or two buses. For the direct bus, okay. If I didn't get it, now there are two kinds of people. One who would wait for the next direct bus, or people like me, who would get to the next bus and keep moving in the direction of my destination and keep jumping off the bus when it was needed to take the next bus in that direction. So likewise, life, I kept moving. I did cricket quizzes, I did marketing, I did PR, I did teaching, I did online commentary, but I kept going in my destination. And I always worked with Sunshine Industries. ERP in 1998. Heli Charters in 2000. And we launched India's first budget airline, Air Deccan. Webcasting in 2000. 5 years later, YouTube came into being. Now we know how easy it has to be for me to have 2 Limca Book of Records, to be a Quora expert, online tutoring, and most important, empaneled with the Aditya Birla Group to coach their corporate level employees for effective English communication skills. Now that is a big feather in my cap. Aditya Birla Group, no less. And I realized that life has to be lived. There's no escape. Once in a while, I thought of taking the extreme step. I'm human. But I knew that I didn't have the guts to do it. It needs foolish guts to do it. I thought of taking the extreme step and committing suicide. I was so depressed. I couldn't, with my one hand, tie a rope and hang. I couldn't go and stand in front of train was at the track, I would fall. I couldn't go on the track because I couldn't be able to hold myself up. I couldn't walk into the ocean or fall off a bridge into a river. Somebody would notice me. How would I be able to climb the bridge without one hand and with not able to use the second leg also to cross over? So only thing was sleeping tablets. And I'm on a tablet which is like sleeping tablets. It calms the nerves. So I have a stock of 30, 40 tablets. But I thought if I have those 30, 40 tablets and I drink some pesticide or something, mar jaun to अच्छा है. If I don't die, then what will happen? So I give up that hope. I didn't have the guts to do it. It takes foolish guts to do it. And I'm glad I didn't do it. Because I am bringing this frame from this movie, which is one of my favorite movies. I can still see it, I can still cry, I can still laugh with it. And this is one of the best messages of life in that. Chef Sunil, please.
मुशाए जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, लंबी नहीं. हद करते हो. मौत के डर से अगर जिंदा रहना छोड़ दिया तो मौत किसे कहते हैं? क्यों दोस्त? मुशाए जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, लंबी नहीं. हद करते हो. मौत के डर से अगर जिंदा रहना छोड़ दिया तो मौत किसे कहते हैं? क्यों दोस्त?
I got the message also.
Yes, sir.
And in 2019, somewhere in 2017, sorry, I was taking my walk in Palakkad, evening walk, and the phone rang. So I had an unknown number. I picked up, and there was this lady on the phone. She said, Mr. Neelakantan. I said, yes. Good evening, sir. I said, good evening. She said, my name is Jaya Mathur. I'm a student, class of 92. I said, there is no Jaya Mathur in class of 92. She said, I am your class of 90 student. I said, there's no Jaya Mathur. Please tell me your maiden name. She said, Jayashree. I said, Jayashree. And I think I said N. Kumar of Nila. I think the initials were N. But I remember each of their names, the initials, the monikers they got in college, and what kind of mischief they've done, or any kind of problems they faced. So I just love them. I had given myself fully into them. My daughter still says that at times she cribs that she feels that I have not given her that much of love as much as I give it, as much as I give myself to my students. Maybe it's also because of when she was born, I still have not had the joy as a father to hold my baby in my hand. I still haven't had the joy, the delight of changing her nappies, of cleaning her. No, I never had that joy, the delight. But man ka ho to acha, na ho to acha. Because I've done this for hazar babies. My nephew, my friend's daughter. I would never put my daughter to my chest and sing lullaby to put her to ensure that she goes to sleep. But for so many babies, I've done it. So this girl, Jaya Mathur, calls up. So I said, Jayashree Kumar? Said, yes. She said, yes, sir. I said, tell me that. So I remember I still call them girls and boys. And now they are, even Dr. Gurugram Prakash is a girl. I still refer to my student, the girl from Guru Musa. But they're girls when they came to my classroom. And I remember them by their maiden names only. Even though they're married to their classmate maybe, but I will still call them by their maiden name. Which tells me, now she talks to me, she says, sir, I'm calling you for a particular reason. Tell me. First, I'm surprised. Why is she calling me after 1992? We haven't met, we haven't talked. She said, I've read your book, sir, and I loved it. So I want to tell you, actually, it's talking with a lot of pauses, intonation, carefully choosing her words like a jeweler would choose the diamonds or the gems for a necklace. Sir, after college, 1992, I joined the Oberoi Hotels, and I married an army officer. He was an army officer then. I think Rajput Regiment or Rajput Rana, I don't remember now, don't recall. He later became the commanding officer of the regiment. Sir, in the Indian Army officer has to lead from the front as a role model to inspire his men. She pauses after every word to let that sink in. Although I'm not able to recall her exact phrases, I'm trying to. And she uses those spaces and those intonations so well that I'm true to each word. And then she says, "Sir, the Indian Army officer inspires men by leading them from the front." Yes. So I was thinking, what? So what? Sir, you inspired us. And believe me, and I'm saying this, like that time, I had my tears, my eyes were moist, I had a lump in my throat. So I thought they would forget me. I was an ordinary teacher, but they were fantastic people, these extended family of mine. मेरे अपने. मन का हो तो अच्छा, ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. फिर ऊपर वाले की मन का हो रहा है, तो जरूर अच्छा ही करेगा. So since 2019, knowing that my wife has been tending to me, my in-laws have been tending to me since 1994, I have decided to live independently. I'm not dependent on them. I live alone now with a caretaker in a place called Alapi, in a cottage. And now I sing this song, a beautiful song. If you heard this, Musafir ho yaro, na ghar hai na ठिकाना. You listen to this now. Musafir. हवा के रोक पर मेरा आशियाना. So thank you for listening to me. At least if one person gets inspired with my narrative, I'll be very happy, delighted that I've realized my objective. I hope you learn to be sanguine, to be an eternal optimist, even in the most darkest times. Because only the tough times don't last, tough people do. But I take leave, but before that, I leave you with a song. One of my favorites, this is my song, which is the song of my life. I love the song because it's the most optimistic song, and it has brought together the two great masters of Hindi film industry, who sang those 60s and 70s, 40s and 50s. I'm sorry, Mohammad Rafi Saab and Talat Mahmood. गम की अंधेरी रात में दिल को न बेकरार कर.
Gaurav?
Yes.
Gaurav?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much. Journey called life meant to be endless. What we have to do is we have to make most out of everything what life throws at us. As you rightly said, man ka ho to acha aur na ho to aur bhi acha. Thank you so much, Neil sir, for this inspirational session. Everyone, next in line, we have a session on 8th of May by Dr. Shivani Gupta from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. She's the founder of Accessibility Across Disability Agency, working for the inclusion of persons with disability. A session will be on Limit Exists Only in the Mind. Hope to see you all next Saturday. Please do join in. Once again, thank you for all joining in. Stay safe. Thank you. Thank you, Neil sir.
Thank you, Neil sir. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Sunil. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sunil,
thank you so much, Neelakantan.
we did our commando efforts for making this narrative. Sunil and Saurabh with me, we did 8 dry recordings before he got this correct. I had lost my voice, but Sunil was still so cooperative. He said, "नहीं sir, एक और बार करेंगे sir. Do you feel it is right?" We did 8 recordings till we got this correct, and I'm still not very happy with this. It could have been better.
Great, sir.
Thank you,
We'll
sir.
surely
Close
call
the
you.
event. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much, and
Close
continuing to
the
all of
event
you.
now.
And
Thank you.
please
Yes,
stay
ma'am.
safe.